It should be 3, I think.
Okay.
Oh, we're
Oh,
back?
we're back?
We're back?
All right.
Oh, we're going right in here. It looks
Yeah.
like Comically Large Food is here to put things down as they're quickly approaching the knockout stage. Look at them go already. Just all of them in center just trying to hold everything back from losing the zone, but it's not enough as they go 2 down right here already. Wait. Yeah, no, yeah. They fought back a little bit, I will say, but that was a really good, never mind. Fights are happening.
Had to say something, but we have a tent on Mahi, which is, personally, big fan.
Yeah, of course. Honestly, I don't blame you. I do not blame you whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, these strikes are coming out. They're going to do really, really good work here off the bat. Zuka coming in to try and make some waves as well. But Brown Sugar Perlina's, I think the hold is on. Oh, that's a flank. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. The
Beautiful.
stamp, getting the pin. But the brush is still behind, just being a rat.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to last very long. Just having to fight all the members. Not even the hammer was able to penetrate through the 3 members of Comically Large Spoon there to hold it. I don't think there's anything going back from that. But Brown Sugar Polinas does have another chance to try and get themselves into the zone. Around half the match remains here, Kronos.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see this brush sharking the left side, or the wiper gets picked down as the brush rats around, and the bucket gets picked up with a pin. We can see that tent going left side. Okay.
There is. Back to the game.
Yeah.
we are seeing a really good hold here from Brown Sugar Perlinas, but these strikes coming out from Comically Large Spoon to try and make some waves in themselves. But again, with the pain of a Pentel, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to try and get that going. I think the big thing here is making sure Comically Large Spoon doesn't lose their footing right here. This is not a moment where you're going to want to panic and possibly lose your footing, especially when you have to come back from this. But it hurt me.
They got that cap. The stamp does find 1, 2 down on Brown Sugar Perlinas, and they're just going to have to back up here. Viper gets picked down, trying to take the snipe again, and that's 3 down for him.
Yeah, already really huge recovery there from Brown Sugar Perlinas as they were able to just quickly reach that zone. Again, I think it's down. It all goes back to like making. No, it was. I think that was just unfortunate, to be honest. More than anything, Penta was able to get one and then another one down in the back. Still, yeah, they're pretty close to closing the penalty points off too.
This Zuka coming out from the tent finds 1 somehow, and the bucket's gonna be stuck on right side alone, just trying to live with their strikes.
Yeah, these strikes are going to be pretty nice to give them a bit of a helping hand and getting the zone painted here. We have all 4 members of Comically Large Spoon in the center. Someone's got to go around real soon. We are seeing the wiper try it, but it's just this bone is neutralized. With one going down on each side, it's going to start getting tough as we're reaching those last 15 kicks here for not Comically Large Spoon, but Brown Sugar Perlinas, and that is the lead.
Yeah,
is
that's
it going to be enough?
And that might happen with these strikes. The pin does get taken out by a wiper, but the brush jumps in, finds 2, and it's just the pin for Comically Large Spoon.
Indeed, and they are forced to jump out. This leaves Brown Sugar Perlinas once again having the zone all to themselves here. There are 30 seconds left. Comically Large Spoon has to not only cap the zone off of this retake, but they have to hold it until that 50-point penalty is.
Not only do they have to hold it, they have to hold it against a Neo Splash.
Oh
that thing is just going to paint over the zone for the next million years. And they're 2 down, and the Neo Splash is still alive.
Oh, that was rough.
That's game.
That's game indeed. Brown Sugar Perlina is able to take it back there, even if it looked pretty grim in the beginning. Really cool.
We joined in, and Comically Large Spoon was already down to 7 points. And there's the bumpies across the table.
Yes. We love to see, like, in the venue when a game is over. I love the sportsmanship that comes out, especially here at LANs.
I love the bumpies across the table at LANs.
That's the most fun.
for someone to finish up or something. That's my guess.
Is she buying merch?
What's that?
Is she buying merch? What's her? Let's see her.
She wasn't just here.
Yeah. She said she was going to be in cosplay today. I think.
Yeah, she's wearing the. She was on the left side there, the table, but yeah, I don't know. Must be out.
Oh right, yeah, Calturnia too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
I'll see if I can make it.
I don't got time off for another trip.
I'll see if I can make it, but I gotta check my my schedule first.
No more time off till Game on Expo in April.
Because like I. No one
to be having.
Well, I know. Well, I know for a fact. Oh, we might be cooked. Has quite a few regulars for Sunset Surge, such as Pepe, who you might know as the head TO of Sunset Surge. We also have Fufufu, an artist who shows up quite commonly, and I actually can't remember off the top of my head. Kronos.
Kronos is a member of Aquatic Vanguard, friend of a friend. I'm a friend of Nerds, who is also on that team. Kronos, fun fact, I believe he made Leviathan Sendo this season. So he's really been grinding, really been working hard. So let's see what he can do here.
And lastly, we have Golden Ball or Brian. Brian. Yeah, that sounded weird. Once again, a member heavily of PCS, Trigger for Zones, and a certified workaholic.
Okay. I think I've seen Fufu around. I think they play Pencil. I'm not quite sure.
Shot there, because Zuka primarily can be used to clear that annoying corner.
And it's quite good on the street area when you're pushing the final podium as well.
Yeah, and also on a push, you can hit the top right snipe, which is where a lot of us like to spam bombs from, and also where backlines set. So less of that there, easier to push.
Yeah, so we'll see what they run on Humpback. I don't think Pencil's great on Humpback, but some people think differently.
It just is. I say personally, it's personal preference. I believe personally my Impulse runs Pencil there, but we don't play this one often, so I'd have to recheck that.
Looks like we don't have a lot of information on the other team, unfortunately. Wish to tell you more, but I guess we'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yes, at current they appear to have some minor technical issues, so it's up to the two of us to keep rambling.
Yeah, but thanks to all the TOs, I had a lot of help with the audio issues upstairs. Pepe was there to kind of clear that up. So, there's a lot of complicated technology that goes in with this stuff, and I apologize for the delays.
It's an unfortunate part of this.
It looks like both competitors are getting their headsets on, and hopefully we won't.
Because without too much to say about the other team, we kind of lost a lot of talking points.
That's all right. Well, how's your day going so far, Kaiser? How's your experience?
I flew in from the Midwest, so my sleep schedule is very off. On top of that, I work overnight.
Yikes.
So let's say a normal person's sleep schedule is here. I'm down here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for working hard for us. Yeah, I came from SoCal. I was not a long flight, not Midwest long, about an hour. But I'm happy to be here. It's a nice venue.
It is. This is my first time at the Guild House.
I kind of wish they would open up the drink side and the food side a little more, but beggars can't be choosers, right?
We're squids.
Yeah.
We are running out of talking points and
all right.
fast.
Quick, what do you think of Mako Tower as a map?
It is Mako Tower, and they are still setting. Okay.
I had the pleasure of playing Mako Tower in my last set, and I really like bringing Custom Blaster there. I feel it's a very low visibility map. You don't always have eyes on the enemies, all the instructions, and it's a lumpy map as well. So I feel like blasters excel.
Yeah, it's hit over ledges and shit.
How? So I've been struggling to do that. Do you need to jump first? Is that how that works?
So the fists appear to the left and the right of your player, and they will just fall down. So whatever they hit, they hit.
Right. So see, whenever I try, so for example, when you're pushing past first check and there's the plat above you there,
Mhm.
I seem to have trouble getting the fist to hit over that plat. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just executing poorly.
I have to correct that myself, as I don't play any weapons with
Right.
splashdown.
That's fair.
But yes, speaking of weapons,
What would you play on that map? I don't know what your
okay, so I'm basically primarily at current decaf one trick.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay. I play a bit of
it's
decaf myself.
So decaf, and decaf.
Decaf. Good weapon. Very versatile.
Yeah, I come from a background of playing swords.
You still play Stamper?
I've never been able to play.
Never.
Stamper.
It's
I
a
come
hard
from
weapon to
Wiper.
play. Yeah, Wiper's good. You think that 3 frames was it 3 frames they subtracted from the charge / last patch?
I
5.
think something like that.
It definitely feels smoother now.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't play it as much as I do because after having decaf, which is
Yeah.
suction bubble, torp ham,
Just a ridiculous kit. Yeah, compared.
it's
Yeah.
like it's like both kits fit their weapon, but given the option,
You think
decaf,
decaf's a top 5 weapon?
I agree. The top 5.
Yeah,
That weapon is ridiculous.
it's pretty ridiculous. I'm glad they didn't nerf it because I also play quite a bit of. I'd say it's my main. Then off main is like Blaster.
Mhm.
All right, so it looks like we're finally getting into the menus a little bit here.
All teams are set. We were just waiting to press A to get onto the weapon select.
Hopefully, no errors. I had an error in my first set. We had to start the game over,
Oh yeah,
which was not
the
great.
DC
But
on
you
it.
know what
Everyone loves that.
happens. Okay, so
I believe we are just double checking who's on what team.
I wonder if we're gonna see a tent out of Kronos here. Okay, all right. We are getting information that they're having audio issues, so it might just be a tiny bit longer.
I could probably see 10.
Yeah, I know it was his main for a while, and like, if you've ever played against a good tent main, nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
They
You know,
just they don't let you hit them.
yeah, and that. Uh, we are getting hand signals.
Oh
No
wait,
way, okay.
yeah, no worries.
But yeah, 10 is just a movable tank.
Personally, as a decaf, like I don't mind playing with one because it gives you a really good opportunity to
Mhm.
close the distance. But you know, there's so few tent mains. You know,
Yeah, 10 is a hard weapon, but like unfortunately due to the game's neck code, it's just no reward. You'll have shield out and dive through it.
yeah. Do you feel like it's a better weapon at a LAN?
Yes, I would say any weapons like that are better at land. Same goes for Zuka. It's even better on land.
I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure how netcode positively affects.
Be inconsistent on online, because it doesn't matter if it hit on your screen. If it didn't hit on that person's screen, they're not dying or taking damage.
Interesting.
That's
So Zuka has kind of like a both client and user interaction.
Somewhat, yeah. That's in my understanding. I haven't the game, so
Something to look into. Yeah.
it also doesn't help that Zuka's hitbox is Zuka's hitbox.
Yeah. Have you seen the diagram where it shows how
Yes,
the 3 spinning? Yeah, you can like hit people behind cover. It's crazy.
and that is how sometimes the Zuka will just go through a person.
Yeah, it's wild.
Because all 3 hitboxes decide, actually, no, we're not hitting.
Totally fair and balanced.
Yeah, I know earlier no, it wouldn't be on screen, but I watched Eevee of Healthy Dive Food Groups get a triple with 3 shots, 3 kills.
Oh, Eevee's a great player. You can learn to expect that kind of stuff from him.
A great player and also a great friend. I've
Aw,
known him for years.
aw, how long?
Um, I want to say since like 2019,
Wow,
and we've been on like
since
three,
S2,
four.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like 3, 4 different teams.
Oh, that's great. Hopefully, a
Triples.
lot of people can find that
Oh, I
sort of
see.
thing in
We
our
are
community.
being given the prompt of
Oh.
triples are cool without Zuka. Fair enough. Can't disagree.
If you get a triple, you're.
A triple's
move.
a triple.
I
need
was
to not hit the green screen.
I was just in a set. First set of the day. We were on Mako Tower, and we had a lead of 8, all the way down to 8,
Mhm.
right? And I believe our T-Tech player comes back from spawn, throws a blind splat bomb over the window. The splat bomb lands on the tower, kills 3, and ends the game. And it's crazy because we watched it from her perspective, and she just totally threw the bomb as completely incidentally.
Just threw it somewhere.
Right. It was just like, I'm just going to throw this bomb for efficiency's sake. And then that was it. And it was,
Random splat bomb go.
yeah, it's random splat bomb. Powerful. But yeah, I've been having a good time. It's nice to play without all the latency that you're used to and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Yeah. All right.
Still audio issues. Okay.
Keep yapping. Oh, they said keep yapping, and keep yapping we will.
But yeah. But I guess on top of like a sub, yeah, your 2 best are suction and splat.
I love suction bombs. I don't use them the same way I feel most people do. I use them mostly as just like a zoning tool. Like, don't come in,
Mhm.
don't go here. I've never really been able to master the stick it on a wall and bait somebody. People do that sometimes.
Toxic and miss underrated. On Rainmaker, I'll give it. Most other modes,
Oh, we're talking about mist now. Okay.
it's up there.
Oh,
But
I
yeah.
see. I see. I see. Oh, I didn't even notice I
Yes,
gotta pay
we
attention to
can
that.
see that.
Toxic mist. You know what? It's not the worst. It's not the worst.
It's not the worst. It is strongest in Rainmaker. Because what's Optimus gonna do on zones? Guys, okay.
Yeah, get closer.
The
We gotta
chair.
cuddle up. We're gonna be here for a while. Get cozy.
I have a bad habit of sitting in corners.
I do feel that sometimes I'll throw a mist at an area and I just don't think it does much. But
Mhm. Yeah, because for Mist, it comes down to like what is happening. It's the reason why Mist can be effective on like Rainmaker and Clam Blitz. Is that in Rainmaker, it's an objective being carried. You're already a heavyweight now, and so Mist on top of that, it's like I'm going nowhere.
right.
And then Clam Blitz, ball gets carried by a player, so if you can slow that guy and kill them, that prevents them from scoring.
Right.
So.
Not a lot of missed weapons in the meta right now. It feels like, I guess you could argue maybe Sword, Nuvo.
Oh yeah, Stampede Nuvo. When that shows up, yes. we are still waiting on that audio.
Yeah, I mean, been like that today.
FA is currently the one fixing it.
A little
yes.
bit of Epe magic.
And there's our photographer just strolling by.
Sort of an interesting venue. I like that little upstairs complex. Pretty neat.
Yeah, is especially how they have the the camera overview. That's pretty neat. Kind of really only something you see at locals.
How many setups would we have total? One up there, and then
There are 5 down here.
5 total. 6.
6 total if you include up there.
Yeah, that's 2 more. So I was at SoCalia last month, and they had 4, I believe. Maybe 5. So the extra setup goes a long way.
Pepe, Pepe staring into the camera. And I
All
believe
right.
the audio cue is finished. Yes, it is. We are getting ready to
All
go
right,
now.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry.
Photographer.
And we're here. We're playing Splatoon.
Wow. Yes, but yes, round one of this is Humpback, Pump Track, Rainmaker. I said, not too much to say. Most of your struggle on this map is going to be that corner after first check. And get like to like 20-ish.
Yeah.
Basically wins the game.
The defender just has a lot of terrain to work with. They got that big wall right there by the corner. They have a little window to shoot at you from. It can drop from the right and flank you from the rear. But once you do get around that corner, things open up a
It
lot.
opens up quite a lot. One of, I guess, and there is for the attack, you can like flank around, but it's like that flank is kind of awkward.
It's a long one.
It's long and requires a lot of commitment, which takes you out of the fight, which means you're basically in an 3v4 for like a few minutes.
Yeah, I feel that if you're gonna hit that flank, you got to do it as soon as you can, and just kind of
Yeah, you gotta set that up basically as you're pushing the Rainmaker.
right. Yeah, it's a good flank though if you can get there, and
And
starting.
we are off. Here we see coming outside of
Oh, the blob.
Blob coming out. We are seeing that 10.
Ready?
Go! And yes, it is a Zuka 10. It is not back. But we are seeing a V-try, which I don't see often.
I think it works well here.
I very well think it does. Also, at least for this game, we've seen a double edit. One on
Now
both.
we have a pick for a pick. Both the shots going down. 2 down on an orange.
Indeed, and currently we might
Wow.
Booyah Baby Cooked is currently
Look at Kronos.
are currently
pushing
the
that
ones
10th
doing the cooking,
streak.
and they are off to do their first push.
Yeah, it looks like Blue's going to get the Rainmaker check here.
And, well, hold on,
Inkjet is out versus the bubble.
and we were looking for that right, and Intense Shield finds a kill on the try.
Oh, here we go. 2 down on orange, but they
But
lose the
they
Rainmaker
lose
at
the
a
Rainmaker,
pivotal
and-
point.
As I said, we are stuck in this corner.
Yeah, it's a bad place to be, but can Kronos' tent get them through?
It is, well, we have slightly cleared the corner, but still, that is not a very good push on this map. And that's Zuka
Yes.
getting a great pick onto the edit.
Awesome pick from Nitro, and it looks like Orange is going to get a second breath here. Or
Oh,
maybe
but-
not.
Maybe not. They've gone free down, and the Rainmaker is currently doing it. There's a wipe out.
What a beautiful shot direct from the Inkjet.
And that Rainmaker is yep.
Look at those points. And like you said, Kaiser, they get it down below 20.
Which is.
Did they get
very
more?
hard. They might
Kronos
be.
with the tent?
Kronos with the 10. Might have to pick up the Junior.
Can they shoot him?
And they
no.
are going to K. Oh, and Pepe with the Zook for the style points.
Wow. What do you think? What do you think the key to that was?
I would say, given that it is Kronos' 10, that he's basically able to set there and have a splash wall that can move.
Yeah, absolutely. It just drew so much attention and allowed them to get that KO as well.
Mhm.
So a quick game 1.
Yeah, that's for Humpback as expected. It's either there and out, or you're there for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I was, as a spectator, I always want a knockdown, drag out fight,
Mhm.
but you got to hand it to the team there.
Yes. And next up we are heading on to Akko Mart. You see,
Is it Mako or Mako? Some people say Mako. I say Mako, but
I don't know. I don't care.
let's Google it later.
This has been. I think this has been an argument since Splatoon 2. I pronounce it Mako because that's how I would pronounce those in Japanese.
So, Hint on Mako. On a claustrophobic map, you think it's going to work better or worse?
Also,
Maybe he won't even run it.
He might not even run it. Yeah, but like, let's say.
Take a look. Oh, they're starting.
And we are
Wow,
starting.
they're
Luna Blaster cameo.
Luna Blaster? I would love to see it.
Well, I'd like to see the match.
All right, so we might be cooked, not getting cooked. Game 1. Here's the
And-
green sword from Chronos.
Okay. Yeah, I can see why. I've
Hmm.
seen. I think I have seen Tense Flex Stamper.
We were talking a lot about Mist. How well do you think Mist works on?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's something I've thought about. Like on TC, I would naturally want bomb, but considering we might be cooked, is running double strikes.
So already, blue on the tower. We have a crab charge from Chronos. Are they going to contest here? They're down 2, down 3.
They're down 3 with,
Multiple specials.
and Pepe is currently on that flank.
That is-
Yuzuka finds one.
Wow, that is incredible
And
flank.
gets promptly
Unfortunately.
sent back by a junior.
Yeah, junior bombs always on you.
Roller dives in,
Uh.
finds Fufu, but gets picked off.
Yeah, it looks like blue team's just doing a great job, but can they deal with the bubble here? Nice pick from the junior.
Bombs come out, find one,
Does he get this too?
finds two. They so-called free Inkers win. Do have the man advantage. They are forcing we might be cooked back, but we are popping strikes, and we have found 2.
And blue just staying on top of the picks here. Orange not able to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Fufu safely on tower.
Yeah, mostly given free Inkers is comp, they don't really have anything to contest Fufu.
Nitro going down on the tower.
Pepe is just in their base.
Yeah, the tower was going back to mid, but here they are again.
I think Pepe Zuka found 1. It did look like it killed the roller right off the
This
phone.
looks like it could be GG here.
Their Zap got jumped by free. Yeah.
And just a dominant 2-0 from We Might Be Cooked.
Yeah. It primarily comes down to just free Inkers was the issue of their comp. They had nothing. They had Junior, Zap, Roller, and Blob. 3 of those weapons are not fight.
Yeah, they did need a little more aggressive pressure, I feel. Just had a hard time dealing with Pepe.
Yeah, Pepe for one, and even if they did, Fufu on Charger could just stand back and snipe them.
Also difficult to deal with a Stamper with a composition like that.
Yeah.
But
It's-
you know, right? Because it's still Wave B.
This is Wave B.
So it's. We just saw we might be cooked and
I
3 anchors.
Yeah. If I remember schedule correctly, we should be seeing we might be cooked again.
Oh, okay.
And I want to say I'm running off schedule. I do not know seeding.
Hmm.
It was like last time I saw C12, I think is who we're gonna be seeing them fight next.
Let's see. There might be.
But at current we just kinda have to wait.
Well, I don't mind. I would like a drink. You have a little drinky right here.
Hydration.
Mm.
That's important.
Very
Source, I'm from Arizona. Hi, Fufu.
important.
I think other sets are lagging behind by the sound of it.
Understandable. Okay.
Yeah,
Should we?
let's take a brief break. so
About
we
how
can get-
long? Oh, I guess they'll let us know.
yeah, for now I think that's our best bet because we don't know what's coming up.
All right. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll be back in
We'll be back very shortly.
very short.
through Wave B. We've got a good matchup, good couple of matchups actually coming up here. I think our first one is going to be in 12, if I'm not mistaken. Orcazoth versus We Might Be Cooked. And I think the biggest thing that's been standing out to me about this matchup is just like the strength of both of these teams. We actually already saw this in the previous run through where We Might Be Cooked put on a really, really good show. That's Pepe, Kronos, Fufu, and Golden Ball. And I don't think we've seen Orcazoth on stream yet today, but we're about to. Cosmic Sin, Dodger, Inky Pinky, and Swessy making up that team.
Yeah, it'll be a really exciting set coming up here.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to watch this play out.
Yeah, definitely. And I think just like looking at some of these matchups, look at these guys on the right-hand side, just getting the selfie in before it starts. But as you see on your right-hand side of the screen, that is going to be We Might Be Cooked, and then on your left-hand side, that's Orca's Oath. So we saw some of the, the weapon matchups in the previous game. We Might Be Cooked. We saw some Splatter Shot Classic coming out from Pepe, and then some Tent Stamper from Kronos, some Chargers and such from Fufu, and some good bucket play from Golden Ball Brian. But what do you think we're going to see on Orca's Oath side?
I'm curious to see what they pull out, but I do think we might see a pencil come from Swissy. I'm seeing them on pencil a lot, and Dodger will probably be on Octobrush. Their Octobrush is pretty strong. I
totally
play that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking with Dodger a little bit earlier today, and they are a scary Octobrush player. If you've ever played against Dodger in like solo queue or something, or in competition, you know that they're going to just like slap you over the head with Octobrush. But yeah, to your point, excited to see maybe some pen play come out. Really excited to see what Cosmic Sin and the rest of them pull out too. So
yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see what their comp looks like.
Yeah.
How they pair up against.
Definitely. So looks like the first map mode combination we're going to be getting into is Barnacle and Dime Rainmaker, which, on a map like this, tends to be kind of stalled. Really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
looked at the
okay.
map list beforehand, and it.
Okay, well, I was going to say I'm not sure
I was
I've
also,
ever.
yeah,
I'm not sure I've ever seen Rainmaker, Barnacle, and Zion. There it is. Thank you, Dryan.
There we go. You see it in Sendo
the
queue.
power back
where
there. Yeah, you
pick
can
7
see
maps.
Yeah,
Barnacle is going to be one of them that's on your Rainmaker map list usually.
Yeah,
so.
totally. Yeah. Well, I guess not Sendo queue today. We are going back to the classic. On 4 down and the opponent gets into your pit area, or God forbid they get onto your snipe, like how do you get back from that? You got to really push together with your specials.
Even if they're not in your pit,
Yeah.
like they'll have more high ground if they're further back, and
For sure.
you have to drop directly into the pit, or you have to drop on the right side where
Totally.
you can't really escape.
Yeah,
So,
you basically have to pick your poison. To your point, you have to take disadvantage coming up from pit because they can shoot down at you, or you have to drop all the way from top right where you're pretty exposed, and especially if you're running like a pen or something, like pen can pick you off as you drop, so it's tough. Recovering from any sort of lockout is pretty difficult on Barnacle
for sure.
Dime,
It makes
but-
it tricky because you really have to coordinate those specials and
Totally.
coordinate the team fights to come from all these different angles and
Yeah.
then try to retake that pit, because
Yeah.
otherwise you're just going to drop in, and then it's going to be really hard to get any value out of that.
Yeah, totally. And I think we saw some really good special coordination coming out from the side of We Might Be Cooked on the last stream set where, the great Zuka usage from Pepe like normal, and some really
As always.
Good, yeah, as always, and good Tri-Strike usage from Fufu, and as always from Kronos and Golden Ball as well. And I think that Orca's Oath as well will have
I think the zip can do pretty good for them, especially with the walls all on the stack and the walls on the side of mid, especially after that rework.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think the big thing with Barnacle and Zyme zones that I have personally run across is that you don't want to lose your heads if you're in like a disadvantageous
For sure.
position, right? Because it can be really, really easy to be like, oh shoot, we're 2 down, we need to get XYZ number of picks, and just sort of like bleed time, make mistakes, potentially get picked off, and you do not want to be losing people as you're trying to reach
Yeah.
take here in Barnum.
Yeah, it makes it harder because then you just have to sit back and wait for your teammates to come back because
Yeah.
you can't do anything now that you're in
Yeah.
a 3v4.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even a 3v3
Yeah.
because now they're getting jumps back to their backliner on
Totally.
the stack. So a 3v3 really doesn't. Eating of the enemy special, so
Yeah.
it's really valuable to build up that special on the retake.
Sturgeon Shipyard Tower, because this is a best out of 3 for those watching at home. This is not a play all 3, so whoever takes the first 2 matches, whether that be first 2 or maybe first one, last one, is going to take the set here. But yeah.
Sturgeon Tower will definitely be interesting if it comes to.
Yep.
And at least in Splatoon 2, it was actually kind of nice because you'd have armor and missiles to take back, so it felt a little bit less of snowball-y when you're sitting on the tower. And the tower KOs pretty fast. Like, you don't have to push too far up to KO.
Yeah, whereas, in Splatoon 3, you're like, with cooler meta, there's someone just sitting on your snipe preventing you from getting back into mid, and that can be really tough. But it is still, like, a really, really good map. Comps that we see out, and I would love to see a game 3 for sure, but we'll see if we get to
Yeah, for sure. It's a fun one to play, and it's definitely a fun one to watch too.
Yeah.
Unless you're the one getting locked out in your spawn, then it's not as much of a fun one to play. But you know what? It's fun to lock out.
Oh, it totally is.
You know what? It does go both ways in terms of fun. So
snowball or be snowballed, and Sturgeon Shipyard. I guess we've talked about the first map mode and the last map mode. We might as well talk about the map mode in the middle. Undertow Spillway Rainmaker. In my personal experience, at least with my team comps, this is always a bit of a slugfest for the first check, right? Because what are you going to do with it? You going to run it left? Safer? Going to run it right? If they're 3 down, you got to make that decision.
Yeah, and it's definitely hard because if you do choose to run it right, if the enemy team is mostly down and you can confirm you can get that check, it's really hard to push more or to get more of a push off of that. You got to pop the Rainmaker shield again, and then you got to swim a little bit, and then you got to go up that uninkable, the uninkable ramp that's right next to where all their spawners are coming out. So it makes it really difficult.
Very slow. Like, you're going to be walking up that ramp. And it is useful. Like, I've seen it used if it's a really tight game. Just cheese as many points as you can going up that ramp. But if you're losing, then it's unlikely you're going to be able to make that many, get close enough to win. So you're probably going to have to take it left, which is a longer route. But more inkable, more cover. You can kind of hunker down by those crates over there, shoot the Rainmaker. So it all really depends. I've seen games on Undertow Spillway Rainmaker, where it's just like 100 to 1 almost immediately, and other ones where it's like 80 to 80 for the first 4.5.
And no one can get it past mid. They grab the Rainmaker, they go to the spine area where that big column is at, and then someone's on the other side of that, and it's just really hard to get through to go either left or right.
And you're just stalling, or maybe you think you get an opportunity and someone just picks you off. It's just really tough. But that is Undertow, which we definitely will be seeing regardless of the outcome of this first map. But I think we've got a good set of 3 map modes here for these 2 teams to kind of be facing up against each other. So Yeah, I think we're also probably going to see some adjustments. Like we said earlier, these teams have not played against each other yet. So it's possible that, if one team does really well in Barnacle and Dime zones, then maybe Undertow, Spillway, Rainmaker, the opponent, is going to be like, okay, we kind of know what weapons they're going to use. We kind of understand their play style, so we're going to change up our weapons or just change up our strategy to, hopefully gain advantage here. So really looking forward to seeing how that's going to play out between these two teams.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think between all these map modes, there could be a lot of difference in between comps and strategies and all of that. It really could go back and forth. Like,
Yeah.
whichever team happens to lose on Barnacle Zones could really make a comeback on Rainmaker or Undertow.
Yeah.
And then if they go to Sturgeon, I mean,
Who
that'll
knows?
be a different matchup too. Like,
Yeah.
it'll be really interesting to watch and see what happens.
Yeah, and in my experience, at least, Splatoon can be a very momentum-based game. We talked a little about snowballing earlier, where like within a game you can snowball into a massive lead, but also you can get momentum between games as well, right? Like if a team wins Barnacle and Dime and they're kind of feeling good, and then the other team wins Undertow, then maybe they're going to be carrying that momentum into Sturgeon because they just came off a win, as opposed to the other team which has gone a game without coming a win. So I think understanding the momentum if we go to a game 3 is going to be really important as well. So
For sure, and it definitely depends on the players' mentalities and how they're communicating that with their team to
Yeah.
try to figure out, like, hey, what do we do here? We might have had a rough game, but we still won on game 1, for
Yeah.
example. So you got to find exactly what you got to do
Yeah.
to get that win happening again.
Yeah, for sure. And what you said, I think, is going to become, we're not quite there yet, so just, a little bit of foreshadowing. We are going to have some counter picks later on in the tournament if it comes to that. And that skill of knowing, like, what do I pick specifically to play to my team's strength and counteract my opponent's weaknesses is also going to be really important. Because obviously in the group stage, you don't choose these. Like these are chosen by the TOs ahead of time. This is chosen by the committee, right? But once you get into counter picks, you have a little bit more agency over what you want to run. And I think learning during the group stage what you're good at, or maybe what your opponents are not so good at, is really important.
Yeah, that'll definitely be important for all the teams in this event to try to figure that out once we get into the later part of the tournament when there's counter picks, which
Yeah.
luckily they got a little bit of time to figure that out because we don't get tournament or
Yeah.
counter picks until a little bit later. So
Yeah, for sure. I think there might be another minute until we get started. So just in general, we might as well just talk a little bit about Booyah Bay in general. And Mia, you and I were talking a little bit about this earlier, but the big thing that struck me about this tournament is that it's stacked. Like just look at the teams coming to this tournament. Like there's only a total of like 15, right? Which is, pretty big for a local, but maybe not huge overall. But like the absolute depth of the teams attending this tournament just kind of blew my mind. And I think you had said earlier you were seeing like the signups happen, and it's always like, oh no, there's like another one, right?
there's another one that we got to worry about, and
Yeah.
we really got to be like, all right, guys, we gotta lock in and try to, figure out a strategy for this. And it's really cool because, normally at these events you might see a few teams dominate against most people, and
Yeah.
maybe take a few games
Sure.
down, and usually come back pretty strong, and it's between the same maybe like 2 or 3 teams. But
Yeah.
here it's like just sign up after sign up. It's like, oh my god, I didn't know we had this many players
Yeah.
that could show up to this event.
Right.
Like just at that caliber to be able to rival each other for this #1 placement. Like it's gonna go down today, especially in the later stages.
Totally. Yeah. And like you said, where do even all these players come from? Like, of like the West Coast scene here has been really, really cool to see. Like I was so happy to see the absolute depth of this tournament as we were getting into it. So
Yeah.
it's
And
really
it's-
cool to see. And please attend your local lands. Like you can come see this in person as well. You can see all these really strong teams. You can be on one of these really strong teams.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I think we're getting pretty close to being ready here. And, we were just talking about curiosity into what exactly these teams are going to bring. And we'll know that in very, very short order. So, yeah, I think we're just going to have to see how the first game goes, and then if any adjustments necessary, these teams will have to act kind of quickly to get locked in here. So again, Orgazoth on the left side of your screen, and then We Might Be Cooked, same team that played last time, still on the right side of your screen. You ready for this, Mia?
I'm ready.
Oh,
this
yeah.
will be a bloodbath. This will be really fun to go see how this all plays out. I'm really hyped.
Yeah, same. Okay, so as we prepare to load in here, I think that these two teams need to keep in mind that to move on the top cut, it's the top two teams of the group, right? So if you're someone like We Might Be Cooked, you're looking for your second win here. You want to secure your position, and if you're Orca's Oath, you also want to be securing that position.
Yeah.
So it's all, it's every single match, right? Like, you want to put your all into everything. And finally, here's our loadouts here. And
Actually, I'm not too sure because it does look like the spec cam is in game right now.
whoa, what is this blaster player? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I love seeing the blaster come out. Yeah, woo.
I was a little confused for a second.
Yeah,
they weren't directly rushing mid. I was like, what are they sitting in spawn
interesting.
for?
Yeah, I didn't know we had a Luna Blaster player come out.
Yeah,
Like,
what
I
are they
mean,
doing? Waiting
I
for
mean-
the game to end
Yeah.
in the next 2 seconds? Oh, shoot,
I mean-
that's exactly what happened.
I mean, I respect the Luna Blaster for sure. Maybe someone else on one of these teams does play Luna Blaster. We're just not aware of it. But, if Luna
Maybe.
comes out, I see Toshi over there clapping. You know what's up, Toshi. Potentially might have assigned the teams wrong, a little bit of inside intel here, and that might be the case because it looks like these are our comps. What are we seeing here, Mia?
Got some Octobrush action coming in. Still staying on the zip at least, so that's one thing that's kind of transferring from this Luna Blaster here.
You
You've got
can't have the
Drop
Luna.
Roller.
You gotta have the zip.
You've got Drop Roller on both the Octobrush and Squeezer, so they're going to have to be really wary if other team gets jumps in.
Yeah, for sure. And we already see the shot, the Octobrush, and the Squeezer from Orca's Oath going down. So I think We Might Be Cooked is putting up a really strong, kind of stand here in the very beginning. Pepe does go down, so it's a 3v4 situation, but with Cooler coming out, it's going to be really difficult for Orca's Oath to get back to mid. Not if we see picks like that. That was a really good pen pick.
Yeah, and you can already see what I was talking about. They got the jumps back into mid, and they're fairly safe just because they can already hold that area. As I say, when Pepe goes down right away to his jump. But
yeah. Oh, man. Tick here, really looking for that pick, just not quite able to convert it there. They do have a couple of specials ready. Cooler is out. I think that the Zuka here is going to be key because already, Mia, they're down to 30 points remaining. They need to get a, zone here or else we might see a 100-0 push.
yeah, and they're able to take their pit back pretty easily, but it is a little bit harder to get past that stack. As you see, DRF still holding that area. They get jumps in, and now they're just able to keep up that pressure from the stack. So even if Orca's Oath moved into mid, they could just get countered from the other side there. And Pepe's Zuka coming out with all the picks.
Oh, Pepe getting the triple there. Just typical Pepe behavior and already pushed up into the spawn. You said this, Mia. They did get the zone back, but, the team that was defending was able to jump all of their players back in, and we are already getting back to another wipeout situation where, just the power of the frontliners come back in. We only have like 28 seconds, 28 ticks left in the match here.
Yeah, and it looks like the side of We Might Be Cooked is able to hold them out pretty well here. They got to use these specials. Hopefully the Zuka can do something to get them in. The Zip is doing good work here. Able to take out their strike user and stagger their special gauge because they splatted them within the time period after the Ink Strikes all came out. So that'll be really impactful for them. They won't have strikes on retake.
Oh, yeah, they won't. But just look at We Might Be Cooked and them just coordinating their specials here on that retake. We saw that Dodger was able to get a really good pick and get the recap of the zone here, but already We Might Be Cooked is just working that penalty down. Just 30 seconds, 30 ticks left here, and it's just going to be over.
Yeah, and it looks like they're trying to do something with their cooler effects, try to cycle themselves back in with those quick deaths, but it's just really hard to get past that choke point in general to try to retake their stack, retake the zone. Those are key points that they have to get, and it was just really hard for them to overtake it because We Might Be Cook just had a really strong hold on them.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And again, we said this during the match, but I just want to recall back to what you said earlier about the jumping your teammates back into mid, even if it looks like, hey, we're a couple of down, if you can get people just to land and to survive for long enough, you can turn into, a we might be retaken into we might not be cooked because suddenly it's like a 3v3 or a 4v4 in mid again. So
yeah, of course. And it's always hard when you're playing on a game like that, on like Barnacle Zone specifically, that's so lockout heavy that you may have gotten 2 picks, but on a map like this, then they might just all be back up. It's like fighting. A good analogy I like to use is like fighting a boss monster in like a game, and it starts multiplying again after you take off some of its health, you know, and it just regens. That's kind of what this looks like when you have 2 people down, but it's like, well, they might just be back in 3 seconds, especially when they have Cooler up.
Exactly. Yeah, we saw Fufu there on the pen just constantly pumping out those Coolers for their team. So even though, Golden Ball and Pepe kind of playing up close, they were constantly going down, but they would just respawn basically immediately and then just jump back in to their backliner and just maintain that control in mid. And I really do like what we saw from Orca's out there. Like, we saw a couple of really good zip casters come out from Dodger to sort of like get the pick that they need in mid, but ultimately they were never able to stabilize, right?
Yeah.
Like, they were never able to have the same lockout that We Might Be Cooked had exerted on them, and I think we're going to see some adjustments in this map.
Yeah, we can see already they have double Zuka coming out with the Kuga Deco. So that'll be really interesting to see here and see if some of their Zuka picks might be able to get them more control back here.
Yeah, Cosmic Sin pulling out kind of an unusual Zuka pick, but Glucose can definitely put in work. Unfortunately, going down early here as Chronos picks up the Rainmaker, and it looks like they're going for this sort of slower but safer left side checkpoint we talked about earlier, Mia.
Yeah, for sure. Especially after that Barnacle game, they definitely feel pretty safe setting up in a spot where they might be able to lock them out and not allow them to really take much space quickly, because we've already seen that they've been pretty good at doing that.
Definitely. And, this is the power of the tent, right? Like, look at all the space that Chronos themselves was able to make by just sending out that shield. They basically were able to use that shield to continue this push, right? Putting the shield up allows them to get 3 down, and Fufu's got the Rainmaker. It's all on Dodger, and just not able to get that one last pick. That was a just expert class in showing how to maintain control in Rainmaker.
For sure, especially like you mentioned with that tent shield, it's really difficult because not only can you push the Rainmaker behind that tent shield, but the tent shield itself just takes up so much space. So you don't even have to run the Rainmaker behind it immediately. You don't have to just default to using it as the shield to move your objective, but move your whole team in and get the rest of your team to set up on that high ground going around the grate.
Yeah.
And that makes it just really hard for the enemy to retake because now they have high ground above this grate. They got a 10 on the bottom if you want to drop into that. And then you got the Rainmaker shooting some AoE.
That, just a really, really good, just display of power in Rainmaker that We Might Be Cooked put up there. So, not seeing the game 3, but definitely kudos to both teams there. I think they both learned a lot from each other in that particular set. And yeah, looks like we'll be moving on to Waves round 3. So I think we're going to take a very quick break between that, and then the two of us will be back in just a few minutes to give you a great game in round 3. Stay with us. We still on, Ryan? I'm not sure if we're still on. Are we still on? Wow. Okay, I just signed
Right,
off.
awesome.
Should we continue? Or should we sign off for a second? Okay. feel like it's sort of fallen out of competitive favor, but I love that weapon, and I am really excited to see the Inkjet synergy you're talking about today. We might not see it immediately, as it looks like Dali's pulling out a pen here. Actually, a pen mirror match here, Mia.
Yeah, and I have seen Dali go on the pen recently, so you know what? That should be of note that he might be playing that as well.
Yeah, so, you know, pen on either side, the typical carbon roller coming out from Vera. And they're going to be fighting up against Kronos' tent here. So I think we're going to see kind of probably a hold in mid for a while, especially with a crab battle going on.
Yeah, as you can see, We Might Be Cooked was able to take mid pretty fast, but since On Crack went for the crowd really early, they were actually make it pretty neutral.
Yeah, definitely. We see Golden Ball pushing up here, getting a really good splat on Vision, going for one more. DRF gets traded out here. You know, they're basically in their spawn, but they don't yet have that ball. It's really just Pepe who has the most clams, and, you know, he's only got 5 at the moment.
Yeah, if you include the clams on his glasses, then he might have 7, you could say, but still not enough clams to form a ball here to make a push. So they get pushed back into mid here, and Vera trying to go for a really fast kill on Pencil. She does end up getting it, and that'll be really impactful because I don't think their Pencil grabbed the cooler. Yep, they're still respawning, so it's going to be a long time before they get another cooler with how long that spawn is going to take.
Yeah, for sure. So already we saw the momentum sort of switch back in the favor of On Crack, although if you're Kronos and just one pumping people with your tent, you might have something to say about that. Already we see Kronos pushed back up, but you know, the cooler is good, and already the frontliners of On Crack are back and ready to wage this defense. We don't have any scores yet, and it's been a minute and a half.
Yeah, no scores, but 2 crab battles so far. I mean, this is a really interesting match. It seems like they just keep popping it to go rival each other, you know, and it's really fun to see here and see if We Might Be Cooked can push further up here. It looks like they might be able to with that Zuka pick.
Definitely. Kronos putting in the work, getting the Zuka pick, but you know, the power of the cooler has made it so this is another 4v4. A lot of clams on the side of We Might Be Cooked, but they just have not been able to get enough players down on the side of On Crack to really make a good push here, and we're sort of just stalled in mid.
Yeah, and it looks like Golden Ball is saving their crab for later, so we might be able to see that a bit on the defensive because On Crack was already able to take some space in mid. So that might help them see as they use it right now. It helps them a little bit to go prevent On Crack from getting a little bit too much momentum. So now this gives the chance of We Might Be Cooked to be able to get back into mid here.
Yeah, you know, it really did look like On Crack was going to be able to make a huge push there, but We Might Be Cooked, to your point, has sort of regained that momentum. They lose Vera. It looks like they're going to lose the Julies as well, and finally, We Might Be Cooked. This might be the push they're looking for as the basket is broken, and it's only Vera. She's the only one respawning from the side of On Crack.
Yep. And that 10 on the circle is going to be really impactful here. Able to put up those shields for free, especially when the crab is up there too. And the Zuka just getting defended for free. Like, it's really hard for the side of On Crack to be able to push back in here. But they do get some solid picks. And now Kronos being locked out in the back might get taken out.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like they might be able to escape.
Oh, man.
Stalling some time here.
Fighting against a tent that has that survivability can be so tough. We saw both Kronos and Fufu stay alive here, which is going to be major for them. Like, 2 of their team members are down, but they're still kind of locking down mid. Already On Crack finally has gotten back into mid, and they have like a 50-point deficit to come back here from.
Yeah. Especially now that they have all this orange paint in mid, you know, they might be able to take something here, but they got to be able to force them out, especially Kronos on the right side, just taking so much attention with that shield because you can't ignore it.
Yeah, Kronos just stalling so well like they do for time. Eventually, Vera's able to get the pick with the Zuka there, and finally, Dali's able to kind of get set back up in mid. With Pepe down, they have a bunch of clams. They need to win the crab battle, and no,
wow,
Golden
the explosion shot over the crab hitbox, but hit the rider on the head.
Golden Paul knowing exactly how to lob their crab. That is the 3rd crab battle, and perhaps the most important one of the game we've seen so far. You know, On Crack has a ton of clams. They just need the picks, and that Zuka shot from Vera is going to get them started, but they do need to action off of this because already it's gone to a 3v3 situation. They've lost a bunch of their clams. I think they're going to need to make a decisive push now before they just run out of time.
Yeah, and it's going to be really hard to push through that choke point, especially here on Umami without any specials. Like, you kind of just have to run through or try to get on that, what people like to call chair, that block there that gets you to the grate. But either way, that's pretty hard to get to. And
Oh,
you see
yeah.
they're using the crab right now to try to get that, and that is able to help them take space, but they still got to deal with
Oh,
that
yeah.
10. And they do deal with it.
Oh.
Now they're able to get a push started, but DRF coming from behind, or sorry, Golden Ball. The
Yeah.
IGNs are confusing.
Indeed they are.
Able to get some picks here. And
Oh.
it looks like they're just not going to have the clams to be able to score.
Yeah, the only one left up was Vera, who was able to jump in. They do have the pity, but just, not enough time. The basket closes. And, that was a very close match. It might have looked like most of the time We Might Be Cooked had a lot of control. But, had there been a couple more clams gone in the favor of the side of On Crack earlier, I think that could have been a totally different game, right? And we saw how long it went before a single score. Like, these teams are so evenly matched with each other that, it takes like a good 3 or 4 minutes just for a score to happen. And when it does, there's only a 12-point difference between the two.
Yeah, for sure. And especially on Umami, if you haven't been able to get far up enough to completely lock out that choke point, it does make it pretty possible for the other team to still come back in and get that really fast. As we saw, they pop one crab, one strikes, just
Yeah.
one special,
Yeah.
and that does kind of let them get back in. And so
Yeah.
On Crack was able to take the space in mid from the side of We Might Be Cooked,
Yeah.
pretty fast and pretty easily sometimes. And then, they might get forced out again, but it really just went back and forth there. Orange ink in the middle and then blue ink in the middle. And, you look away for a second
Yeah.
and now it turns the other color. And it's like, wow, no one locked them out too far.
Yeah.
But, there were advantages in both ways. And we saw that with the scores, On Crack making a pretty good push at the end, but just, a few clams off and just maybe one pick or so off from being able to have the time to get that
Yeah.
back in and have the space.
Yeah. And this is an interesting thing. In anticipation, or are we going to see, hey, let's stick to our guns, we know what works, and we're about to find out, as it looks like, is that a V-roller coming out from Vera? Okay. I don't think I've ever seen her play V-roller. I'm really curious.
I've seen her play that a little bit more recently, but, normally we know her for the carbon, but it's still a roller, a sharking roller that can go in pretty far. And the V-roller, especially poking onto their plat here, will be really impactful.
Definitely. We see the jellies floating in the background, but most of the action is already on zone as Kronos unfortunately goes down to a well-picked splat bomb. We Might Be Cooked has been wiped out for the first time basically this entire tournament as far as I'm aware, and Vera is in an extremely good spot. That V-roller can pop this bubble and just contain so much space up here. I think we're going to see quite a few points coming out from the side of On Crack.
Yep, and as you see there, even if Vera was only able to get one pick, they couldn't rush the bubble. They had to spend so much time on that now look, they have these strikes already. They're throwing the bombs out. They've got all these resources that they're able to use because of the time that Vera was able to stall. And the picks from that Zuka on the side of Chromos.
Oh man,
That's awesome.
Kronos just working with the Zuka, but ultimately too many of their team members going down to cap immediately. They do get the pick, and with Pepe pulling the Zuka of his own out here, is going to try to get some work in, but Vera, oh man, just barely misses out on the pick here. Now it looks like On Crack is in the disadvantage situation, and it's time for We Might Be Cooked to kind of set up and try to get their points now.
Yeah, and this can be scary for On Crack, especially right here. They already got another Zuka out. The 10 already got another one. Like, they're just going to keep coming out, and there's not too much room to go to dodge these Zukas. Look, the Pen's hitting shots here. Like, it's really hard to be able to come back in from this.
Definitely.
We'll see what they can do with that.
You know, Bubble can be really good for holding, but it can be a little bit difficult on retake. Vera is able to get it on the zone, and they're able to get the quick cap, which is excellent for them, but it's still a 4v4 situation. Make that a 4v3v2, 2v2 situation as players are going down left and right. It's just a slugfest for mid, and it does go in the favor of We Might Be Cooked. They have a fairly large penalty, but they do have the lead, and this is kind of where you want to be sitting with 3 minutes left in the match.
Yeah, and as you can see, all these players just coming from all sides on the zone. I mean, this is Mahi after the water drops. Like, it's very tricky because they got to watch all sides. Once the players drop in, they could be anywhere in mid, especially when you got to worry about all these slayers on each team. Got to worry about this tent. Got to worry about the carbon, or not carbon, the roller. These are things you really got to worry for, especially with Pepe here getting rushed by the roller, you know, unexpectedly there.
Yeah,
but able to win it.
definitely. Yeah, you had said they can be anywhere in mid, and you got to be careful of the Sharking Roller with Vera able to get those 2 picks. Unfortunately, not really able to convert it into a full, you know, holdout here, as already We Might Be Cooked is sort of showing their mid prowess here. I think that On Crack is going to need to push together with their specials because We Might Be Cooked doesn't have a lot of penalty. They are able to get one down. They got a cap here before the strikes completely take over the zone.
Yeah, and it looks like they're able to get that cap. They have all 4 set up in mid. They're going to have to get that paint on the right side because, like I said, the second that We Might Be Cooked could drop in, they could just go from the side, and that gives them a lot of angles.
Oh, that's an excellent pick there from Delhi on the pen. They were able to pick off DRF before they got their special, and already On Crack is eating into their real points here. Like, they have no penalty points. The Tri-Strikes are going to come out and try and stall things. 2 are down on the side of We Might Be Cooked. We're going to see a lead swap here, Mia.
Yeah, and you see on the side of We Might Be Cooked, they were forced in that corner with no paint, and you know, now you're kind of forced to jump out there because you can't really go anywhere you want. So now the whole team knows where you're at.
Yeah, with 15 ticks only, Kronos is going to have to come up big here with the Zuka, and yes, they do. Can they hold it? No, they can't. It looks like the cap is finally going to go back on the side of We Might Be Cooked, but already 2 down on the side of We Might Be Cooked versus the 3. Things have evened out, but look, the penalty of 27 ticks is non-negligible on the side of We Might Be Cooked. I think On Crack has a pretty good position here. They just need to hold on for the remaining 50 seconds.
Yeah, as long as they can prevent We Might Be Cooked from getting a retake, then they'll just win the match. So even if it goes a little more neutral here, I mean, We Might Be Cooked has to fight really hard. And they do get the cap, but they're going to have to hold this a bit to get some points. But it is possible. They only have about 50 counts until they can take that lead again. And then if they hold it for a little bit more longer, they just KO.
Yeah, you know, that team fight in mid there, had things gone a little bit differently, if Vera was able to get either of those picks, it could have been different, because already they are getting real points here with only about 20 ticks left. It's just the roller and the pen. They're gonna have to run at the zone here because they don't have enough time for their teammates to respawn before the lead happens. The bubble needs to come up on left side or maybe top mid as the lead is swapped, but can they hold on to the zone? It looks like they cannot! Oh my goodness, what a showdown between those two teams. I thought for sure that zone was going on the side of On Crack.
For sure. I mean, you saw Vera set up that bubble there with all the paint from the bubble, and then the V-roller able to getting a lot of paint and some paint forward onto that zone. I mean, it went neutral, and you know, then the rest of their team started to come in and then was able to combo up with that and then paint the zone, while We Might Be Cooked was a little bit more forced out. But the strikes on the zone, I mean, not only is it just painting the zone so much, and it's really hard to paint over that, but it's denial of space, especially when you have a roller. You have all these frontline weapons that have to play at close range. Now you can't even step in the zone anymore. So you have to paint it from further back.
Yeah, you know, it's just a game of inches, of pixels, right? Like, had the strikes come at a slightly different time, had the bubble come up at a slightly different time, if one or more other person was picked off on zone, that could have been completely separate. And, you know, we knew this would be a great set going into it, and I have to give a ton of credit to On Crack for, you know, going for that V-roller pick there, which I think was extremely good and kind of caught and folks, I do not expect this to be have a bracket coming up that's going to be completely filled with strong teams. So please stay with us. I think we're going to probably go to maybe a quick break for lunch. I think we're going to have some silver bracket running as well. And then we're beginning into gold bracket and getting to crowning our champion of Booyah Bay Fog City. Any closing words here, Mia?
Not too much, honestly.
Sounds good. Well, thank you all for watching, and please stay with us here at Booyah Bay Fog City.
It'll be an exciting evening.
Indeed.
Oh my god. Hello. What's up, guys? I'm Mustard. I'm here. I'm here to talk about Salmon Run. That's it. I don't have much more to say. To me. And yeah. I mean, you guys excited? I am. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't really play Salmon Run all too often. Which sorry about that, guys. But let's see what happens. We got waste left. We got.
I just look at
One of these is not like the other.
Where's your gold banner? Why am I asking?
Looks like we're gonna follow one of the players. We got. We got Toshi on the Luna, so.
There you go. Behind me.
There's already a casualty.
I got you.
I don't think this is a good sign, guys. But they're throwing the egg. They're getting it closer. You know, standard stuff. That shit. I mean, they gotta get the egg pretty far. I see the chain. They're getting it up there, but it's taking a while to get their first egg in the basket. I can't really see the egg progress, so I don't actually know how much they need to get. But hopefully it's not like 30 million or something. There we go. They got most of the quota. They're gonna be fine for this first wave. Of course, you're gonna want to get as much as you can. They're moving closer. I think, honestly, the hardest part about this is just the distance you have to cover. Otherwise, like, it's not that intensive from like 80 mobs spawning in front of you at once. But yeah, there's just a long way to go. And yeah, we see them, they're slipping up. Final egg goes in. They're gonna get 46. Wow. Pretty solid.
I don't know. So mysterious. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I'm glad you're wrong.
And now we're back to, I suppose, more standard what we see in when we think of Salmon Run. So here we go. It's big fog, which, I mean, it's only fitting, right? We're in the bay. It's only fitting that it's very foggy. So there you go. Excuse me for not knowing the names of all the things. There's too many of them. I played Salmon Run in like June 2. There's too many of them, guys. They added too many of them. I don't know their names anymore. There's the big golden guy walking through. We got the stingray fish. Personally, I'm glad that is no longer a special in the game. But at least we see it in Salmon Run. It is, you know what, respectable. Not too much, a little chaotic, I would say. Not too chaotic. I mean, oh, it is. They're getting the big missile guy. I think there's something kind of funny just watching, just trying to take out like
had Booyah, so I'm
Any
pretty sure they will be the same next
any
time.
of the salmonids
I
that
have
you
Ice Flow now.
just should not be the one shooting at, that's always fun. I love when my team makes me, as a roller, try to take out the big fish stick guy.
Don't waste your ink on bomb.
But
Cannot afford that.
enough of me yapping.
On it.
You're here
Go
for
now.
the game.
We need crowd control desperately for the I'll be on
Like,
it as soon as I can, but it's still gonna happen. So instead, on it. Half.
well, they're making good progress.
Dead.
They're making it pretty
I
fast.
don't think I will.
But there's a lot of eggs left on the field. So you gotta be careful. There's a guy. He's scooping it. He wants it. Yeah. Take that guy out. And then,
I need help a basket.
yeah.
Hang on, that one's still alive. Got him. Lots of Cohawks destroyed.
And they're just making light work of everything. You get the big mud mouth opening in it. Oh, another one. There's just I mean, it's salmon run. End of the day, you're just trying to score all the eggs. You can't keep them all, unfortunately. But trying his hardest. The just defending this pile from being taken. Looks like that's kind of where they're picking up and throwing. There's gonna get 70, 71, 75. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Oh, in the water. But hey, pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Get a
That's my
classy 163. We get the screenshot taken. Thank you for that. Love the screenshot. And hey, there we go.
That was during wave 2, right? Or that had to have been. That's the only wave that had boxes.
All right.
Alright, yeah, that's a great idea. Do you remember where they were?
Quick talk for a sec. So yeah, we're gonna talk for a sec for this one.
Because I remember there was one point where...
Okay.
Yeah, it's that's the first run. How's everyone enjoying? How's everyone liking the games? I mean, it's been pretty fun. I've been roaming, talking, and just kind of watching the games generally. It's been pretty fun. So, hope you guys at home watching along. Hope you guys are having fun. I mean, kind of what we're all here for at the end of the day. As we wait, I think we're trying to see. I am curious which team is currently winning. Which of the squads got the highest egg count? I guess we'll see in a bit. They got 163, so we'll see if anyone can top that. But as we now move into game 2, the second bit. Here we go. We're gonna let's see. I'm excited.
Easy enough to switch. Alright, one of these is not like the other. I don't play this game anymore, it sucks. Alright, let's get ready. Yep.
The same deal every time.
I did not know
They're playing a salmon run code. They're gonna play roughly the same thing. I guess, through the different rounds, you kind of warm up to it. You get a little more practice. Figure out what you wanted to do. They, the great change. Gotta get it to the end.
got it. Charging up. The route is not
Throwing the eggs is so much fun. I'm glad they actually put that in the game. But I don't know. Personally, I feel like it takes too much ink to throw it. But you know, what am I to say? I mean, I just play this game. I don't, you know.
in that case, he's throwing eggs right now. There's no paint like anywhere here. I have to like really
Yeah, yeah, man.
I'm gonna go to the basket to clean up the mess.
You know, you guys ever wonder what it would taste like to like just pick up the salmonid and just take a big bite? I think that'd be honestly, I'm curious. I wonder what it tastes like. Now you see them in the bottom left corner. They're there. You get to watch the observer, the spectator for the event. Right. He's playing in the salmon run, so that's actually his feed we're seeing right now. So I mean, there you go, same guy that brings you all the joy mid-game. He's right here, and getting rid of those things. Good. I forgot what they're called. I just know they shoot venomous. And yeah, pretty standard stuff. Getting rid of the stingray guy. I think it. What is that thing called in the game? The long pillar. I call it the obelisk, because like it really does just look like one of those like random pillars that they just started building around the country. I don't know why this. Yeah, a lot of eggs, not enough people to go around to get them. So you kind of see that the jump out a lot of specials. They are just popping it all on this wave 2. I mean, it is the same mode over and over. So, you know, they had their first run. They saw how it was. I guess you adapt, you figure it out. Oh. What is my team?
I'm just gonna kill this fast as we can. And towards the end, I'm not gonna. Keep in mind, towards the end, I'm not going to be killing anything anymore because okay. Yeah, near the end, I will stop killing so I can focus on eggs.
There it is. There. Buzz up.
Dead. I unfortunately don't remember the spawn pattern, so I'm still just reacting and looking.
Yeah. I mean, pretty simple. They knew their bounds from earlier, and I think that's the fun part of this. Is like, you know the scenario. You're given you have like 3 rounds. Try to score. Honestly, pretty fun. I mean, first one's for learning, figuring out how to do it, and then you adapt, and then figure out what works, what doesn't. If you get a strategy going, I mean, leaving a lot of eggs on the other side. They need to take care of that. They're just gonna walk away with them. But hey, free delivery service. So, lure them in, let them get a bit closer to the basket, and there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Focus the end. Going low for him. Throw him up. Going up. Throw him. Big sentry. Big sentry. Yeah. Here's Kirk. Go, 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 go! Good improvement.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got 85. I mean,
200.
pretty solid. And
190.
see what their final total is. 190. Ooh, all right. Capture, take it. Thank you. Very cool. So, I mean, pretty good score. Yeah, I do wonder what everyone else's score has been. I believe there's 4 teams playing in the Salmon Run. So
God. Holy shit.
I'm
man.
curious what the other teams
That was
have
good
scored.
shit, dude. Good shit.
But I guess we'll find out pretty soon. Yeah. I find it really funny. It keys out the hat. So